Again, a Chinese client, right? Another Chinese client. No disrespect to Chinese. I love Chinese.
You get one
because they gave me a lot of support. You know, they're very loyal. They were a very loyal group. But a Chinese client said to me, you know, Claudette, you know how I make money? I make sure that I have my basket ready every Friday to catch the money that the black man ready to spend. Because as soon as he earns it, guess what he does?
Spend it.
Him don't save a cent. And he said, Claudette, if I earn $1, I spend 20 and save 80. You know, and you know, I found it very offensive as a black woman, right? but I smiled. But I found it very offensive because it's very offensive to me and my race, right? But I simply said, there must be a way to get information out so that person's way of life can change. And people will now get onto the psyche when they're spending $1. Is this dollar going to earn me more in the future, or is it going to take away from me? Because at the end of the day, all money is all about cash flow. Is this thing going to bring back more cash flow, or is it going to take more cash flow out? And I think that is where, even as women, we need to be having a conversation with our husbands or our brothers just to empower them and to get them out of the pattern of spending 80 cents and investing, not saving, no, investing 20 cents. Because that's what's going to change the quality of life 20, 30 years down.
So generational wealth is important because it was, and Amar has written about it too. I mean, it is, you see it in front of you. You see it, you know, unless there's that strong family holding where you learn from early how to respect the dollar. But you can actually look right now across our country and you can see where the disasters are already upon the land in terms of companies that will not be around.
I agreed, and I'm happy you went back to that, Novia, because Daniel raised the point, and I think Lamar commented on it. I'm sure, Claudia, if you want to stop talking, but you're going to have the chance.
I don't know why. She has the best stories.
A big gap in Jamaica is estate planning. There are many people. You talk about a joint account. That is like the tip of the iceberg, because I do recall many years ago, a friend of mine called me. She's hysterical because her mom has died. Nobody knows what she has. Nobody's on any bank account. She has investment accounts. This whole, how can you help her? How can you help us?
But as a finance...
And I think that's such a gap, because as women, we do a lot, but nobody knows what we are doing. And so when we are no longer in the picture, all around is chaos. So talk about that.
And then some people think a will covers everything, right? Everything should not be in a will. Let me tell you, all right, this is my law hat switching. Everything should not be in a will, right? You should not itemize everything in a will. You're exposing yourself to certain taxes and transfers with that. So it's definitely, some people say, I'm just going to write it out and say everything to my children. No, it does require a lot more dialogue, right? If you have that account, do I want that account in Jamaica? Where is it taxed domiciled? What is the implications on the CARICOM? Should I add my children? No, I don't want to pay the transfer tax. Try transfer tax and estate tax when you're dead. Right? What does it mean if you're going to have them in joint tenancy or tenants in common? Right? Exactly. And then I've had clients who have point blank want to leave out their children's spouse.
Yes.
Or for their things. Yes. Right? So
you also have pop-down family members, like my pop-down sisters. You know, they want, you know, they don't want to pay for anything, but they want to reap.
That goes across the board. I see that all the time, and that's why I said what I said earlier. I see where the children live this life, they travel, they stay at the villas, they do everything, but they have no clue how it's paid for, or how it's earned, right?
Correct.
And I've even seen since COVID, some of them have been pulled back home to Jamaica and don't know what to do with themselves.
Yes, because school fees and stuff like that.
Why am I going to pay school fee and everything when you can do it online right here in Jamaica?
Yes, but Lamar, even with your legal account, upon. It's such an important thing, but people don't even realize that you're not covered when you sign a blank paper. Yes, I buy a will booklet up at the pharmacy.
No, you see, what Lamar has just put on the table is a new thinking, as it were, because you were told by reputable attorneys to make sure that you have a will. That's some new thinking. I mean, it's funny because as a result of my pop-down family, that's when I understood that you don't put everything in a will.
No, man, you should have a will. The question is what you include in the will.
And also, there is no ruling from the grave. We have that issue too.
Oh, damn.
The things that you want to
Of course
have.
there is.
Like, for example,
There is a rule against perpetuity.
Did you see her face? Lamar, you should have seen her face.
put the child on their account.
There are those who try that too.
This is so simple. There was one particular quick story. Quick story. Gentleman in his 40s, handsome, good looking, excellent body, right?
Oh, Janelle.
He was actually an executive at Grace Kennedy at the time.
Yeah.
And he decides he's going to migrate to the States. And he came and he said, Claudette, you know, you've managed my account for all these years.
Yeah.
I'm going to maintain my account here. So we'll just be in contact by email and stuff. And he's going to open his account. Of course, he's the most eligible bachelor.
Of course.
So he decides he's not putting anybody on his account. He's not having his account joined.
Not even his mom or dad? Or his brother,
So I said to him, listen to me, if you're not joining your account, certain institutions is down the road.
You know, it's a nightmare to unwind.
No. You can go straight to do that. Anyhow, he left, and then he came back twice afterwards. Eventually, he put his sister on his account.
Also not even a sister.
He was supposed to leave on the Wednesday. He came by the office on the Wednesday before.
Yeah.
I got to work on Monday. No.
No, that's what she's saying. It's eligible.
Yes,
It's eligible. 40, good looking, money.
Went to work on Monday. Somebody from another financial institution called me from a treasury unit. I said, Claudette, you didn't see a client in the death column on Sunday. Oh, what do you mean? He says, yes. He picked up long and short of it, he picked up a virus. And at 42, he died. Whoa. And then, so nobody knew anything about what he had or what he didn't have.
Whoa.
So what I had to pull the file, look for the next of kin. I've never met this next of kin. So I called the number and said to the person, I'd like to come and see them. And what is it about? I can't disclose because they wouldn't want to disclose and there's money involved. And the person says, you know.
It's me.
So I said, no, I can't disclose. And long and short of it, eventually met the party. Just chit-chat for a little while, make sure we're talking to the right person. And then we're able to say, this is what he was in shock because he actually had a child. I didn't, you know, and so that was able to sort things out. Yeah, but it shows you the importance of stopping to plan.
42.
And the importance of even, I believe, never open an account singly. Always ensure it's joint. I used to preach that, and now I've added my daughter to the account, and sometimes I notice 5,000, 6,000. It's gone.
Yeah, I've had to take mine off. I've had to take mine off twice.
How many married women around here? How many times have you had to catch your husband? Men tend to take greater risk than women, right? And I know at least amongst my parents, right? My father will take the risk, but he always knew. My mother always stashing something to catch him.
Yeah. I have a problem with somebody making a decision about my money. You know? I don't have a problem with somebody making a decision about
your
my
hard-earned money.
But it's not the best way to approach a marriage. You have to because the two sides become one, right?
Know anything about it?
No, but in my case, though, I came into the marriage. already
There's
having
always a
my
safety
own
net. Always have
property,
a
my
nut
Yes.
somewhere.
and it so happened that the law says if the person stays in the house
Marital property.
one night after you've been married, it's regarded as a matrimonial
One
home.
night.
And he's entitled to 50% of it. even
In
though
Jamaica. Or the
in Jamaica.
Jamaica.
In Jamaica.
50% of it, even though he may not have paid a light bill in the home.
And this
So-
is why, as
And
career
it
women,
works vice
are
versa
getting
for the male as
married.
well, both ways. So, which is why it's important for persons to know what are the contractual relationships we're getting into when we get into relationships. Of course. You know, and make sure that you're fully comfortable with all. And I tell people, listen, get legal advice.
So you're suggesting then when you're getting married, you make sure that he has a house, so you just move over to his house.
If I'm ever to get married again, right? Even if it's a half a bedroom,
You're going to spend the one night.
darling, I live with you, it doesn't matter.
No, thank you.
No, I'm telling you.
I think we always hear the stories of the man, the woman coming out, glory. We're not hearing, and it's happening a lot more often, where it's the woman who is paying out, it's the woman who is sharing what
Yes.
she wants, right? More and more. So you see that biblical principle about being equally yoked? Right? It is important in more than, and that doesn't
Yeah,
mean
that's
you make the same money. You know, even at
Equally
that
yoked
point,
is very
it-
important.
it's just.
We've had that discussion, Sharon.
Yeah.
You know, thank God there are men who are still men. There are men who will
Yes.
take care of their wives and their sisters and say, listen, I believe it's a manly thing to provide for the woman, right? And certainly for the woman to take care of the man. So there are men who would not do certain things.
Their own pride.
Yeah. But there are the few.
There
Boys, I take on the role of the wife now, so tell you what.
Lamar, can you tell us some more about not putting everything in the will, please? Asking for those behind me.
You know, I mean,
Oh, okay. And besides me.
Boy, I've been done producers transfers for some time now. But yeah, it's an itemized list, don't. The China. Right? Because you don't want to value the China. Right? You don't want to, right? Just decide, yeah. There's certain things you just, the jewelry, group all the jewelry in. And then they say always, if that's the case, if you want an itemized, you have the will and then you have a codicil to the will. Which is
A what?
A codicil, which is
First I hear that word.
Right?
Yes.
an addition to the will that has the list, right? Because you don't want everything to go through the estate. I mean, through government tax and, you know, and planning. Correct.
Okay.
and you use a caption clause. Like, I mean, again, most of my life stories in a story. When my mom died, we had a meeting quickly. And one of my sisters said, two things. One of my sisters said, Mommy had this clause that said, and everything not named in this will I leave to my daughter Claudette.
Oh.
So my sister said, Lord Claudette, you get the big panty them upstairs.
I love that.
You always have that catch-all.
One thing, Claudette, if you were to be in a room and you're only able to give one piece of advice, what would that advice be? In terms of money management, in terms of a will, in terms of anything?
It would be to ensure that as a person, we change history. How do we change history? By changing generational habits. So what we do is that once we come into knowledge of how to create wealth, we let it become something that we pass from generation to generation to generation. And it ought not just to be in our own families, but even as a nation and as a people and as a race. Yeah, so that's the one thing that personally, from a woman and a professional, that's what I'd love to do. And forgetting all the money. It's not about the money.
Yes.
It's just recognizing that you can have this person who sells in Coronation Market,
Yes,
whose child can be the next multi-billionaire.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Just from knowledge.
I've seen
Happening just from knowledge and straight.
Absolutely.
No drugs, no money laundering,
Absolutely.
nothing. Because once they have knowledge,
Yes.
then they will be empowered.
Correct. That is why NCB started last year with Sharon. We read. It was not by chance that we actually read. It's not by chance that we still have Sharon at the table. Because we still, to this day, take pride in telling people that we don't read. It's always, it's like it's a badge of honor. I mean, it's...
Sharon, you read Cast yet? Yes.
No,
you need to read that. Everybody needs to read that book.
And you are correct, Claudette. I mean, clients aside, you're absolutely correct.
What is it about?
We need to read more.
But, well,
We need to.
what is it about? Well,
So I support the point about information,
But
helping people to read, helping people to find information, not that you're going to hide it or, mask it with big
But
words.
you don't need to hide it. You just put it in the book, they won't read it.
But
I don't-
last
I don't-
year, Olivia said
change
something
that.
that has
You have to
stuck with
change
me
that
ever
notion.
since. And I don't know anyone who was here last year, and you see the power of our words.
Yes.
Send that elevator.
Yes.
Send that elevator.
But that's why we're here. That's why I asked Claudette at the beginning. I hear what she's saying and I agree with her to a point. But I still think, Claudette, in fact, we should have Claudette as a teacher for my daughter. Leave her and things and the credit card. The importance of us having this conversation with us as women. I'm sorry, I make no apologies. I mean, the men have had it. I mean, they're leaps and bounds ahead of us because Lemar said it, even when they don't know. Wrong and strong. Wrong and strong.
Let's be realistic.
And they do, yes, you see, again, most, I mean, of course, it's a conversation
No,
that men would have.
but it's a class thing though, The upper and the middle class, the men lead. The lower middle, and it is a woman. There's no men. And if you've had to have interaction with the inner city, and I've had to have interaction with the inner city, it pains your heart because the men, they're sitting down and all they're doing sometimes.
Yes.
And that's our men, and we're losing the bulk of them.
But you see, Claude, that you've also got women, upper, middle, trapped in marriages because they were pretty, so therefore they got married. They married well, but they've not. Oh God, I have to use the word, Lamar. They've not pivoted, so they have. Sorry, I have to use the word. So they have sat back, in their happy married lives. They've not elevated the narrative around themselves. They've not gone back to school. So therefore, the husbands become bored very easily.
I find 50
Right?
to be that mark.
And then
50 to be that mark.
that
where I
mark.
see that.
And then you have the conversations with Lamar where you suddenly, and I mean this, you suddenly were comfortable in your home with your picket fence and your neighbors and your clubs, and suddenly you wake up. The man is in his prime at 50. He's just discovered real sex from downtown. And the woman at 50 is left totally devastated, trying to wrap it around. This is not New York. This is not New York. This is not London where you're able to join the club and get ready and, go to open kumbaya. So you really are lost. So that's the point where we really have to have more of these conversations with women.
And our children are 18. Let's not make
And
that
don't
because
forget-
that's not going to happen.
Well, another thing as well as I discovered, for those at the back, I can share some of the, Claudette doesn't, I have some good stories too. Claudette doesn't have all the best one. 18 is not even the mark where you say you still get child support. They take the kids out of Jamaica, they send them to boarding school overseas, and then you see your life becomes even poorer because there's the money that they were sending to your home has been reduced even further. That's the conversation that a lot of women need to have. I was shooketh just now when Lamar said, you don't put everything in the will. I was like, Sharon Leach never told me that. And she reads every book, and she watches every Netflix movie. And she, so we have to have a different conversation after this,
But this has been discussion.
Time flies. I mean, it's like
Yes,
6
it's not
three.
time
One
really
hour.
fast.
Yes.
And I really, on behalf of NCB, let me say thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your 2 hours. I know in these days it's very difficult to find 2 hours to share with anyone. First of all, we don't want to be up and about, but this was really good, inspiring, and also, as the saying goes, empowered women empower women, and that's what we want to do. We want to use our stories and the knowledge that we have, our experiences and all our stories to make a difference in the lives of other women, younger women, and so today was really a pleasure and an honor. Please keep safe and continue to be amazing. Happy International Women's Day.
My invitation came from the Treasury team. They have some fantastic persons in the NCB Treasury, Karen Watson, Tanya, and they're doing a tremendous job. So thank you, NCB, for having us gathered in this fashion for things that ought not to be public. But it was really wonderful.
Last year we did books.
Thank you for NCB for inviting me to be here. I was jumping up and down because I said to my husband, QBE is going to in a meeting with women as International Women Day. And I was one of them who they had selected. Can you imagine QBE? And he was like, I said, yes, and I'm going to be there and you won't. So it was a privilege for you guys to have invited me, True Finishes, to recognize who I am, where I want to be, where I'm going, and to have you behind me as a force. Love Miss Mark dearly.
And I'm going to tell her that I met
And she has been a tower of strength to me. Never tap in and she don't figure out a way to help me, because I guess she can see my dream and helping me to fulfill it. That I will have continuity with my children, because my company is mostly run by my stepdaughter, my daughter, who is not Brian's daughter, and my daughter, who is Brian's daughter. So it's a synergy of family. And my dream is just for them to, when I'm stepping down, for their continuity. So thank you.
Thank you for being here.
So I'm from NCB. I also want to say thanks to both for the invitation. I think that, in Chandra's Year of Yes, this is one of the things that you need to make sure that we're very deliberate about getting women together to have these conversations, because I think in terms of one of the things that prohibits us, generation, is just not having that network of women to support us, to vote for us, right? To vote for our businesses, to make investment decisions that other people are not necessarily inclined to make, and they're not doing it because you're a woman, they're doing it because they can see the drive, they can see the determination, they can see the signs of success that sometimes the biases of others can't necessarily identify, right? And I think it's important if we are going to really continue to generate wealth as a not just women, but individually and our families, then we have to have that camaraderie. I'm very deliberate about not creating gender stereotypes in my family. I have a son and I have a daughter. So very deliberate about, no, you don't just dance and you play football and you only have an interest in this and you have an interest in that, about, making sure that we actually look out for women, because we don't have that infrastructure as readily in place as men do. And what you find is that the reason why so many men are so successful is because they're getting capital from friends and family, and that relationship is not being developed amongst women.
Mentorship.
And I find it very difficult to develop the relationship as closely with women and men, just because of our historical stereotypes about the relationship between men and women that are not married, right? And I think so. If you can't fix that, let's try and fix this camaraderie that we have here amongst ourselves, and be very deliberate about doing more of this.
I want to say thank you. Thank you for inviting me here today. There was a lot to take away from this luncheon. So much things to digest, especially about estate planning, because that is so important. So, as a matter of fact, I met with an attorney about 2 weeks ago to discuss my will and testament. So yeah, this was good information, great information actually. So thanks again.
I also want to express thanks to NCB. NCB has always backed me over the years. They're my tower of strength because I do this by myself, no husband or anybody. I came in business on my own, and NCB is my tower of strength, as I said. I just want to say thanks and happy to be here, and I only hope I'm on the next guest list.